Mr. Ross Davenport.
Charlie, good evening, sir.
Did I get it right?
You did. Velasquez with no S's. Good evening.
No S's.
And I'm usually live from Twickenham, but not due to the travel restrictions. I'm in my kitchen today.
Oh, damn it. Okay. Looks good.
Thanks.
How are you doing, Ross?
Thanks, Omicron. I'm good. I'm a little unshaven. I'm probably a little fatter than I was last time, but, you know,
Same
my
here.
crazy time of year is sort of slowing down now, so hopefully I'll get back to get back reffing, get back scouting. More scouting than reffing this year, but we'll get to that in a minute. How about yourself, sir?
I'm doing great.
I know you've been out and about. You've been out and about a little more than me.
I definitely have. And recording everything.
Yes, be sure to check out Rugby FL's Facebook presence, where Charlie posts, I think it's almost multiple times a week videos now from when he goes to visit certain teams' practices in the South Florida area. If he hasn't come to yours yet, please reach out to him and ask him why. He doesn't really have any bias at this point. But
of course not.
So obviously some teams aren't practicing, some teams are. And the season is sort of, I don't know if it's, you say the season started, Charlie, but I don't know, it's sort of sputtering, and some teams are a lot further ahead than others. Some teams are playing lots of games. Some teams aren't playing at all.
Yep.
Some teams seem to be struggling with numbers. Some teams not. But the actual start of the season is a month and a half away. Schedules are all out there now, and we'll get to talk a little bit about that in a bit. Thanks for those of you that are joining us tonight. I know we haven't done this in a while. That's why we have the O in this name of this show. The O stands for occasionally. It just really depends what's going on and what we have going. Well, mostly me. Charlie just kind of sits at his house 24/7, but except when he goes out to get mate. And goes to practices, obviously. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. But I wouldn't venture out if I lived in the 305 either.
Hey, it's cool down here.
Lots of variants we've never even heard of in Dade County. they're on the Z variant already, whatever that is. They just don't tell anybody. All right, so our episode tonight, sponsored, as you can see in the bottom left right-hand corner, is by Roper Plumbing. So let's bring in our esteemed sponsor, Mr. Brock Roper.
Mr. Brock Roper, how are you?
I am fantastic, guys. How are you doing?
Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you, fellas.
Are you okay despite the All Blacks dipping form of late?
In
meaningless games.
It had to come to a point. I mean, you can't be on top forever. So I'm kind of excited to see some other teams giving us a challenge finally. I think it's good for us. I think it's good for us that it happened now as opposed to closer to 2023 World Cup. So, it's back to the drawing board. I think Razor needs to be appointed coach, but I'm not going to go too much into that. Ozzy's had his chance, but it is what it is. We've got the talent, we've got the team. We just got to put the right blocks in the right areas.
Yes, and anytime I think as much as I'm English, so I'm not a big fan of the French, but anytime French rugby is on the up, I think it's good for everybody because they just play with complete lack of abandon, and it makes for a lot of fun rugby.
I mean, the French flair is back. I mean, those guys played out of their socks. That number 12, Roman Intimac, is fantastic. So, like I said, it's just I'm super excited to see the Northern Hemisphere giving us some competition. It's about time.
Man, I missed out making some bets with you, huh?
Yeah,
I could have made a lot of money those two last games.
I'm 1 for 1 with you though, Charlie. So I don't know. I'm feeling good about it.
Okay.
Well, Brock, thanks as always for sponsoring our little escapade here. Let's talk about rugby in your actual neck of the woods now, where you live now up in the central east coast of Florida.
Yep.
I know you're involved with Cape Pirates as well as Brevard. So perhaps give us an update on how things are going with those two clubs.
So both Cape Pirates and Brevard, Old Red Eye, are both training right now. So I'm out there 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays with the youth, and we actually just switched that up. So we're training together now. So
Smart man.
Yes, a little better for me because running a plumbing company and 4 days of rugby was quite a bit. So we're training together now. So I got my youth guys from 5:30 till 7. So I'm training them from 5:30 to 6:30, and then I've got Hinckley and a couple other guys up here helping out that last 30 minutes, and then training with the Red Eyes. And we've had 4 scrimmages already, the Red Eyes.
Yep.
We've got one more big bash coming up December 18th. We're playing a little round robin tournament versus South Florida, Daytona, and Miami RFC. So Cape Pirates, I've got a tentative scrimmage versus someone up north coming up. So we got to see if that's going to fall in line, though. I've got decent numbers right now. Our local football team has made it to the state semifinals, so I've got about 6 players on that team that I'm missing and a couple others that I'm still lacking. So January comes around, I'll get those boys out. So rugby's good up here, man. There's some good energy in the Red Eye team. We've got some real talent. We added a lot of key ingredients to our 15 this year, so it's gonna be a good year for Brevard Rugby.
Going to make another run at the state championship that's eluded you so far.
Yeah, well, we don't want to shoot that far. Our saying right now, we're climbing a mountain. We want to peak in April, not in January or February. So doesn't matter how good we start off playing. We just have to get better every game and build up to that. And hopefully, if we put our right feet forward, we'll get back to that stage and get to perform.
Let me ask you this, Brock. You still don't have Cape Pirates and Brevard, the Red Eyes. They're still 2 separate entities, right?
They are still 2 separate entities.
No plans to merge.
No.
Good question, Charlie. Good question.
The Cape Pirates thing has just taken off so well. I mean, we've gotten over 15 kids scholarships to D1 and D1 AA schools, and it's got a name behind it now. Me and my dad started it up back in 2011, so it's kind of dear to me and dear to my father. He's actually retired now, so he's going to start helping coach a bit, give me a little weight off my shoulders, get Stevie back out. So that'll be good, man. So yeah, we're going to keep the 2 separate entities for now. Till maybe down the road when I step out in 15 years or something like that.
Hey, and another question is, do you have younger kids, U16s and 14s and 12s?
So we did. We had 90 kids registered at one point before the whole COVID thing, and then COVID came, and man, I struggled for numbers last year. I was showing up to games with 15 to 16 kids. So not at the moment. I'm rebuilding the club. I've got a couple people I'm networking with to build the club back to what it used to be. So it's just little by little, I'm getting the younger kids out. I've got 5 U10 kids that want to play at the moment. So it's just getting out there myself and trying to get in these schools is real tough right now because of COVID, and that was our bread and butter, getting in there and having a PowerPoint and preaching to all these kids. So just got to work with the school and, get back into it.
I hope you don't go to the schools and start with saying rugby is like football, but
no.
Okay.
No.
Because I think
I start off with the reasons why rugby is safer, and
you start with a hacker, I guess.
Yeah, just start off, just tongue out. But I go over all the safety points and how there's less concussions in rugby as opposed to football. All the different opportunities you have playing overseas, and the scholarship opportunities and stuff like that. Because realistically, most kids aren't going to get a Division I college football offer. So rugby is a great route for them to go if they still want to play Division I sports, but also get some financial aid while they're doing it.
Okay. Good stuff, Brock. Well, promote your plumbing company. You're out of where?
We're out of Merritt Island, Florida, 32952. We do repiping. We're repiping specialists. If you need your house repiped or any apartment complexes, if you're a property manager and you've got some big jobs, that's what we specialize in. It's our bread and butter. Roper Plumbing, 321-504-7867. That's 321.
I'm gonna apologize. I don't have your number ready here to put on the screen.
That's all right, man.
Just Google Roper Plumbing. You'll find it.
Google it, Facebook us. We're all over the place.
Listen, and you're willing to travel, so obviously a little bit. If you're in the business and need some help, plumbing wise, support your local rugby community and give Brock a call.
Let's hope to have your dad up in the season.
So he's actually on his way back
here on the podcast.
Yeah, so he's actually on his way back. He took a 3-month hiatus. He's just been out of town. So when he gets back, and I'll get him on. We'll have a nice little father-son Roper podcast.
Let's do it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, you better do it before you run out of your sponsorship, because once it's done, we're not inviting you anymore.
How much longer do I have, man?
Unless you want to renew it, we'll talk about that later. Okay.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
He's a good talker.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. His dad.
Yeah, we'll have to get his dad his whole episode. As long as he's got a computer and knows how to use it, that's the difficult part.
I'll cover that. I'll go over to his house. He lives right up the road from me.
There you go. Oh, good stuff, Brock. Appreciate your time as always and your support of the podcast. And I'm sure we'll speak to you again in the new year.
Yep. Cheers, fellas.
I'll see you on the 18th. I'm gonna go up there.
Yeah. Hey, man, we'd love that. If you bring your camera, I'd love some film.
Oh yeah. Of course,
oh yeah. Talk about that real quick. It's a fundraiser, right? You guys are doing a fundraiser with.
That's correct. We're doing a Christmas fundraiser. We're doing a Christmas fundraiser for the needy. So, if anyone wants to come out support, bring some donations, gift cards, anything of that sort, baskets, food baskets, all that sort of stuff. We're just trying to promote rugby and help out our community up here in Brevard, and Daytona, and then South Florida. We're all kind of working with each other. So it's going to be a good weekend of rugby. We're playing 3 40-minute halves. So should be there. It is.
There it is. Rugby for charity.
And it's. That's a very nice organization, because I read that they have like donors that cover all the cost of running the operation. So all the donations go 100% to get things to people, different kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to Daytona Rugby. They set up a lot of it. So shout out to them and to our peers on our crew. Just really stoked that everyone could get that together and do this for the community. It's really cool.
Yeah, so starting at 12 o'clock on the 18th at Provost Park West, Brevard, Random Acts of Kindness is the charity they're supporting. You got 6 40-minute games.
How is that field looking?
The field's beautiful. We just got lights installed. It's resodded.
Nice.
It's really looking nice. So it's awesome pitch. It's a good setting now. I'm really excited to start playing some footy on it.
Did you put some nice 10-meter posts?
Oh, nah, we still have the same post.
Come on, man.
The budget.
Come on, man.
We got lights. Okay, we had to get a medium somewhere. We
get your dad to pay for some decent posts. It'll make the field 100% nicer, for sure.
Lights are much more important than posts.
Maybe I can build some myself or something, especially because I'm.
Get some old pipes. Get some of those old pipes you're not using.
PVC would be good to go.
Okay.
All right, bro. Yeah, good luck on the 18th, mate.
Cheers, guys.
We'll see you around.
Take care, guys.
I love that venue.
From younger Roper. Loves to talk. We had to cut him off. We got a lot of shit to talk about. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I don't even mean to curse, but I got to get out of here at 5 to 8 because I got to get to work. So let's move on with some general topics that have happened in the 12 months since we last did an episode, Charlie.
Not so long, but
no, not 12 months. Couple months. The Sevens is back going. World Rugby Sevens. The first 2 tournaments were in Dubai last weekend and this coming weekend. Now, Cisco Lopez, the big news, I think we mentioned it on the last pod, was when he got selected to referee on the circuit this year. But unfortunately for Cisco, he didn't get to go to Dubai. There was some issue where they had too many refs. Not something we have a problem with here in Florida.
Yeah.
So Cisco did not make the trip out to the Middle East, unfortunately. But the USA men and women did. Men got to the final. Unfortunately, things got a little ugly at that point.
Yeah. This guy wasn't happy.
Former TFRO guest on our show, screaming at his team. Yeah, not particularly great tackling here. And it was an ugly final, but getting to the final is good. First tournament in a long time. No Malachi Esdale. He's dealing with a hamstring injury, so he's back in the U.S. for now. We'll see if he gets a chance as the circuit goes on.
Ross, I don't know if you know, but why do we having 2 back-to-back tournaments in the same place? And in this one, the first one, there was no public, no people in the stands.
I'm just assuming I'm just assuming.
And then the one that's happening right now, they have people. It's so weird. I don't know.
It's strange. I mean, obviously it's just to do with COVID and keeping the travel as minimal as possible, getting on planes, etc. So another tournament. And it's not the greatest for our time zone, but obviously plenty of highlights out there, as Charlie is showing now. Kristen Thomas played, former UCF Orlando, played for the women, and Perry Baker obviously played for the men, back healthy. Perry's still hanging in there, shrugging off injuries here and there, and still making an impact at, well, how old is he now? Mid-30s, right? Or 32, 33, somewhere around there.
30, yeah, something like that. He probably has another Olympic.
Keep an eye on that again. Hopefully, I'm sure that's the goal, is to get to the Olympics. We mentioned the November internationals, some great rugby played there. I didn't get to watch much of it at all, but obviously New Zealand losing twice. England, had some middling performances, but we don't need to talk much about that.
Now, as Brock said, it was sort of nice to see the All Blacks losing for once. And there were some amazing games. I mean,
yeah, some nice free throwing rugby. The French, just crazy stuff, running it out of their own in goal. Back like they used to back in the days. The young talent they've had coming through is just starting now to really peak, and they're going to be a threat for sure in the especially the Six Nations coming up, and then if we do have the Six Nations with the way the virus is going, and then the World Cup.
Yeah. So are we going to be a threat?
Who's we?
We the Teros.
Los Teros. Well, you do live in the USA. Let me remind you of that.
Nice shirt you have, Ross.
We want. Oh, thank you, Jaguares. Thank you to the Jaguares for.
They finally get.
We won't talk about USA 15s rugby because that has not been pretty of late.
No.
On either side of things. But let's talk about some Florida rugby players.
Yes.
There's some good things going on. Reardon Sweet, big back row from SWFL, Southwest Florida Hammerheads. I had to change it in the notes, Charlie. You said he was from Naples. He may be from Naples, but he plays for Swiffle.
Yes, he does.
Swiffle Hammerheads. He announced recently, I think it was last week, that he's going to go to Kutztown University and continue his rugby career up there. Kutztown D1A program, play in the East Division with Army, Penn State, Navy, etc. Collegiate. I can't keep up with it. NCR, former D1A, still kind of called D1A, but I can't really keep up, Charlie. But they are. So Reardon Sweet is going to go and play at Kutztown. Nice little rugby program there. There are some highlights here of Reardon in his time with Swiffle. He'll obviously still be here this year with Swiffle, and I know
he will. Oh, he's going to be playing.
He's not going to Kutztown until next year.
Oh, okay.
So he's still got one more year with Swiffle, as far as I know. I think he's just a junior. He was selected back in the summer to go out to one of the USA combines for the U18s. I know I talked to his mom via email this week. He did really well out there, but then took a slight injury and couldn't participate in the second day. But they're also having another one. They haven't announced the squads for it yet. They're also having another one coming up out west at the end of December, I think in Chula Vista, if I remember correctly, San Diego. And Reardon will be participating in that. So that's cool. He will get to go out to that. He was one of the kids, as part of my sort of my new scouting gig with USA Rugby Eagle Eye Scouting Network. I was one of the kids I identified pretty early. There was some video of him. I managed to pull together some highlights, sent them to my boss, and as a result of seeing those highlights, they invited him out to now he's part of the Pathway program, and we'll certainly be getting a look.
Talk a little bit about why is it so important to have video, Russ?
Oh, man. I sent an email this week to all the coaches of the U19s team. This country is so big, Charlie. I can't get to every game. Everybody else has got stuff going on. I've got you that helps me out. But listen, especially during the pandemic time last year, coaches in all sports were relying. I spoke to a lot on my soccer side as well. The coaches were relying on video for everything for scouting purposes. That was how you got scouted. People sent you videos and you watched them. You may then invite them to a combine or a tryout at that point. But all these high school teams, especially, every team, Charlie, not just because you're a videographer, but every team should be videotaping their game, from an elevated platform or a ladder or the top of the bleachers with a half-decent camera, not an iPhone, and then uploading it and then at that point, you can pull individual highlights from those videos, which is what gets you to – listen, if Reardon may have been seen without me, but I think me seeing him and pulling some highlights and sending them on, it didn't hurt him, right? So I encourage every team out there to get video of every game. So congrats to Reardon for his moving up in the world. and we'll keep an eye on him during his career.
That kid is going to get to places, huh?
He's a big boy, right? He's a big boy, but he's also an athlete.
I saw him playing some rugby league in the summer.
Ooh, don't tell me that. hopefully my bosses aren't watching this because listen, rugby league, it is what it is, right? I'm not a rugby league guy, but you know, there's other options to do for things to do during the summer than play that terrible sport. But anyway, continuing with Florida Rugby products, Chase Shore-Haskin, formerly of a few different teams down here. His dad been a big rugby fixture down here and helps run the Atlantis Sevens program. Chase played at Life, mostly in the back row, and then was drafted in this most recent MLR draft by Rooney, Rugby United New York, for those of you that don't know what Rooney stands for. He was drafted by Rooney, then traded to New Orleans a month or two ago. And there's Chase there with the headgear on. Chase was traded to New Orleans, where obviously our old friend, my mind's gone blank, Charlie. Oh,
yes, that guy, the number 8. Yeah,
number 8. I can see his face. This has been happening a lot lately this week, Charlie. I don't know what's going on. My age has finally hit me. Cam Dolan. Cam Dolan plays in NOLA. So Chase was traded to NOLA, but then a couple of weeks after that, we found out that Chase has been selected to go to Chula Vista and be part of the USA Eagles Sevens residential program. It kind of came out of nowhere. He'd obviously played some Sevens at Life, as they all do up there, and it caught the eye of somebody. So instead of starting his MLR career, I mean, obviously wouldn't go to NOLA till the new year, maybe February. But Chase is going to go out and pursue a chance with the Sevens program for now. So he won't be on the Sevens circuit just yet. They obviously have people that stay behind when the teams do go out to the tournament. So Chase, congrats to Chase Shore-Haskin and his dad, Greg. And Chase will be heading out to potentially be the latest Florida addition to the Sevens Eagles program.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Malachi is also part of that program at the moment, but dealing with an injury. We'll see if he sticks around in that or decides to go back to his MLR roots. Let's go to the ladies' side of things, Charlie.
Okay.
Sam Black. So Samantha Black Keels, as she's her formal name, we'll call her, as she was formally announced. So the U.S. Women's Rugby Foundation, an organization that does a great job of promoting the ladies' side of the game, they announced their second annual 15 players or 15 ladies under 30 award to keep an eye on. It highlights those who exemplify, I'm going to quoting from their press release here, highlight those who exemplify the best qualities of rugby and bring those qualities to the field, to their teams, to the sport, and to local and global communities. And Sam Black is only 20 years old. She was named to that list as one of those 15 under 30. She currently captain of crew. She captains the rugby league team there. She also captains she even got herself into USA Rugby League this past year and captained that team as well. She's the vice president of crew. She hosts skills clinics. She organized the first women's rugby league team here in the USA. So Sam doing an awesome job. And congratulations on that award. And hopefully we'll see more of Sam.
She's been on the podcast also.
She has been on the pod. Correct. Also on the ladies' side of things, Life women are in the NCR semifinals against Marquette. I have no idea how good Marquette is. I'm going to assume they're not particularly good, considering I don't know them as a rugby program particularly. So I'm going to assume Life may roll on this weekend. We have three Florida products in the squad, and there's the picture. They always do a great job with the graphics. Life always do a great job with the graphics.
You told me 10 minutes ago it was only 2. Now it's 3.
There's 2 on the starting lineup, 1 on the bench that I missed. So Emma Diaz starting at second row. I think she's probably a junior now, out of Wellington. And then Sarah Barsoom, a freshman, she just went up there a couple of months ago and is already in the starting lineup. So Sarah Barsoom starting on the wing, former Boca. I mean, she spent her formative years playing with the boys on the Boca side of things. Played for Boynton as well as Fort Miami, and now at Life and making an impact, scoring tries on the wing. And then Aurora Greb Bonham, I hope I didn't wreck her name. She's out of Sebastian River. She is on the bench. So 3 Florida products for the women as they destroy Marquette on this weekend. I'm going to predict a destruction in this one, Charlie.
Well, good luck to them.
see if they can get through to the NCR. I can't keep up with who's playing what rugby when, Charlie. So this is a semi-final of the NCR, and it's the 15s, because I always traditionally 15s finals were in the spring, but 15s in the fall this year. I don't know whether they're playing a separate competition in the spring or what's going on, but this is the NCR
honest,
semi-final.
I am also clueless. That's why I like to concentrate on Florida. You know, because that you can sort of
keep an eye on the girls. And listen, if we missed anybody, we miss things. Charlie and I don't catch everything, so if we miss things, please either post it on Rugby FL, email it to Charlie or myself, just charlie@rugbyfl.com, CHARLEE, or you can message me on Facebook, or let us know about things we miss, because I always feel like I go into every podcast, I'm like, I know I missed something.
Pretty much, if because some clubs do it very well and others don't. If they are following their players and they post this stuff on Facebook, on Instagram, I will most likely pick it up. Sometimes some teams keep an eye on their ex-players and where they're going better than others.
Yes,
but I think it's a nice thing to do.
So please keep us in the loop, especially with all the chaos that's going on in college rugby right now. I can't figure out who's playing who and who's playing for who, and it's NCR and small NSCRO still sort of going on. CIA is going on. I just can't keep up with it. I know Florida is an independent college thing, so I know we're sort of just after Florida. We don't really go on to anything like national championships. They talk about bowl games, etc. I know UCF was trying to get to Texas to play.
Yeah, they are going
in the Lone Star thing. They are going to take on. Was it I forget who it was. Not Bowling Green.
My
mind's gone blank. Anyway.
Yeah, they were doing some fundraising to go. I think it's like a warm-up game before an MLR game.
It is. Well, a warm-up game before. It's not MLR. Or maybe it is. I know MLR doesn't start till in the new year anyway. But anyway, some Florida rugby people doing good things as always.
Well, look, we have an update there from Mrs. Davenport.
Oh, their opponent changed. She's always in the loop. Before we get on to tournaments, we also forgot on the men's side of things, USA South announced their squad, and there was actually, for once, Charlie, there was a decent Florida presence. It's sort of been creeping up. We've had the odd one or two here and there. We've got 4 players in the squad. Was it 5? No, 5. Sorry, right? 4 tridents.
Well, 4 tridents and 1 from Palm Beach.
4 tridents and a player.
You have that thing written in the rundown. Come on.
So I'm gonna wreck this name. I'm gonna call him Herman. I'm not gonna call him German. Herman Jalil.
Well, Herman is good.
Herman Jalil and Mauro Pettinauri. They've been on the team previously, and they're joined by Gonzalo Torres Garcia, and then Matthew Meyerowitz, whose name I'm not going to wreck that name. I'm not even going to put a Spanish accent on. Matt Meyerowitz, former Western player, former Life 10, potential MLR draft pick, didn't end up getting drafted, has come back down here to work, and is playing the Tridents. So the Tridents keep getting stronger, Charlie. I know I texted my dad earlier today about Boca and how Tridents were doing. And he said Tridents are going to be solid again. They're going to be the team to beat in D2. Lucio Lagomarsino has also been selected, but had to drop out due to injury. And then from the Panthers, Brian Todman, I think former RBMA, former New Mexico Highlands, former Louisiana Alexandria player. He's also made the team as well. So a nice little presence from Florida. Finally, we're getting some recognition from the South. Listen, often it's just a case of who can get to tryouts, right? And sometimes they're not always in Florida. They're out of state, and luckily travel has been relatively cheap till this month. But no, great to see the men being represented as well. All right, 7:30, Charlie. I think we're doing all right for time here.
Yes, we were expecting Nick. What's his last name?
Nick Vickers. So for those of you that don't know, Nick Vickers, former Fort Lauderdale center, originally from England, has helped run the Ruggerfest. I think last year might have been his first year. He may have been before that as well.
Yeah, it was the
certainly
first
the
year.
man to step up last year for Ruggerfest, and that was the big announcement within the last couple of weeks, tournament-wise in Florida. We'll talk about All Florida Day in a second, Charlie, which I know you attended.
Yeah.
But the Ruggerfest is back. It's getting bigger again. Remember when it used to be huge, and then it kind of had a rough patch, and then now it started.
Listen,
to come
Russ.
Yes.
Before we move into the tournaments, let's just mention a couple of clinics that are going to be happening Well, we have one this weekend.
This is not happening.
This one is not happening?
No, it's been pushed back to January. So there was going to be an Atlantis Sevens clinic happening this weekend in Boca. But listen, I'm not going to go into details. It's not happening. So it's been pushed back to January. This, as far as I know, is still happening. The Atlanta Rugby ATL are coming down. I know Nick Vickers has really been promoting his team throughout the South. They're doing a 2-day development camp at Patch Reef Park in Boca. I don't know why it says Boca Raton Rugby Club. That doesn't exist as an address, but I wish they had a clubhouse that existed. But Patch Reef Park on Yamato Road in Boca, good stuff there. You can register.
Yeah, I mean, I would really, you know,
ages, and it's kind of just expanded as the months have gone on.
Yeah. And I would really encourage players that are always looking to improve to always try to attend these things, right?
100%.
Because you do learn stuff. It's something different. You get to know other players. It's really something that we should encourage for kids and players in general to.
Yeah, and I know not everybody's financially able to do such things, but
I think this one specifically is very cheap. I think.
Yeah, and so you can see the schedule there.
Wrong, it was like $20, something like that.
Oh, good deal. So a couple of hours of high school boys, some women, some men, 3 different sessions.
Say hi to Steve.
As Bars Mattingly jumps in. FAU, I know FAU are playing Palm Beach this weekend in a scrimmage up at Dyer if you're in the area. And then Sunday, youth stuff in the morning before the boys fly back to ATL. I'm certainly going to try and get out there on the Saturday and watch some of the high school boys stuff as part of my scouting role. I'm still waiting for my USA Rugby polo, Charlie, so nobody really knows that I'm actually legit or not.
Well, I just use that one. Looks great.
So, yeah, December 11th and 12th. So not this weekend, but next weekend at Patch Reef Park in Boca. All right, tournaments.
$50. Hey,
$50.
I think I'm gonna fire you and hire the wife.
She's supposed to be at a movie right now with the kids. I don't know what's. She's supposed to be watching Elf, but still, $50, good deal. Even for a couple of hours, that's good stuff. All it takes. I tell people, all it takes is one person to see you, and to give you perhaps another invite to a secondary camp, and that could be the the sort of leap, the trampoline that propels you to the next level. So get out there. Tournaments, yes. So Ruggerfest.
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday, February 12th and 13th. I don't know who decided to make it Valentine's Day weekend, Charlie.
Oh, that's Valentine's?
Well, it's the Monday. But it is what it is. It's going to be at Briar Piccolo Park. We could have asked if Nick had showed up, we could have asked him, but he didn't. So it's going to be 10-a-side, just like last year. Now, last year was a relative success, I think. It was very laid back. There was obviously some COVID issues, but a lot of people hadn't played any rugby for months, and we got some teams coming in from out of town. All boys, young boys. Here's some highlights from last year. I remember I refereed the final, and I haven't run that hard in a long time. I remember I hurt something in my leg that took like a month to heal. I'm just pushing it too hard, but some very good rugby. The Harpooners came down. We'll see if they come back again this year, and won the whole thing. Although they were called something else, I remember. they were definitely the Harpooners, though, and a good bunch of guys, some serious talent on that team that played at very high level of the game. There was a bit of a black eye on the whole thing with that brawl in one of the games, Boca against somebody, there was issues. But I think in his second year, I think Nick will have learned from his tournament last year. Obviously, 2 days is a big deal, right? 2 days is a big difference. That's a serious undertaking.
Absolutely, but I really like the 2-day tournaments because they allow for a much better competition, right? Throughout, the 2 days.
Yeah, it's just a case of, making sure that the problem with South Florida is that those that aren't from here, they play Saturday and then head to the beach on Saturday night. And I remember, I've been to Savannah, which is one of the biggest 2-day tournaments within driving distance from here. And Sundays can be a bit of a mess because, especially if you lose on Saturday, a lot of teams have come all that way on Sunday and they end up not playing a game because their opponents, just don't show up. So hopefully that's not the case.
I was going to ask Nick about there was this one thing about Ruggerfest before it sort of ran into problems. That we had at least one really good game, or sometimes more than one, and that would be something really nice to bring back.
Yeah, I mean, I think perhaps Nick could work on that. He could also look at the Florida Rugby schedule and perhaps bring a game in. But yeah, we had the touring sides from Argentina. We've had Life. We've had USA Rugby South come down.
Well, as you mentioned, our schedule, we have like 12 games that day.
14, I think.
14.
I'm already down 2 refs already because Pancho Lopez decided to book a cross-country skiing trip in Canada that weekend. So as soon as I read that, I heard his ACL snap inside my head. And then,
at least he didn't resign. He'll be back.
And Rocco is out because he's got something going on. So we're down 2 refs already, but hopefully it'll be a great day again. The pitch is Brian Piccolo, not a traditional rugby venue down here in Florida. I want to say we've had something there in the past.
We had a sunshine on the. We had sunshine on the.
Other than Pancho on the velodrome.
We had one time Sunshine States, like in.
That's what I thought. Okay, I remember there was, but it's not a traditional, 15s venues. The wife mentioned the old boys are playing 15s. I'm sure we'll get a good turnout for the old boys as well. The old boys can't play 10s. And then Rand Beach 5. My dad's just reminding me about that. We'll get to that in a minute as well. Did you put that on the rundown, Charlie?
What? Sorry.
Oh, no, you did have it on there. I was just making sure we had the Beach 5s on there. So Ruggerfest, change of venue. Mills Pond was the venue for so long, but that field, as you can see there, isn't in the best shape. I know they were talking about turfing it over, which a lot of these parks, unfortunately.
That was the reason they had to move it?
I don't know. I know that was part of the reason last year that they didn't really do much with the fields. As you can see, there wasn't anything going on in those fields really because of the pandemic, but they're in not great shape. So from what I heard, they weren't doing any maintenance because they were just going to turf them over. So yeah, prize money, $4,000 for the men only. Is that right, Charlie?
I'm not sure because they don't get into details that much.
Yes, I'm sure if they have enough interest from the women's team, they'll have a prize.
Yeah.
Anyway, FTLRuggerfest.com, and you can find them on Facebook as well. Saturday, February 12th and 13th next year. So
I think it's really unfortunate that we have so many games going on because this tournament and All Florida Day were the 2 times in the year where sort of we came, all the Florida or a lot of the Florida rugby community came together in the same place and allows for so much good interaction.
There's sort of a disconnect, I think, between the union at times and the tournament organizers, but hopefully as the tournament continues to grow, if they have a really good year this year, then
we have to remember what Ruggerfest gave us last year. The
most famous moment from Ruggerfest ever, Cagney Coburn just running a guy over and then asking immediately for a sub.
This is
maybe we'll see Cagney play this year. So yeah, Ruggerfest, middle of February next year. Let's move on. We'll get to the Florida Invitational Rugby Showcase at the end of this tournament part, Charlie, so we can just make sure we get to everything else. We talked about the Rugby for Charity up there in Brevard on the 18th. So if you're in the area there, that'd be great to go and see and donate some money to the Brevard Random Acts of Kindness. And then my dad texted me and reminded me we already had it on the rundown though. So Dad, don't. Charlie's not going to forget these things. Rand Beach Fives. Listen, I'm not a beach rugby guy. I'm not a fives guy, but they had a great crowd the last time they had it. They've got 16 teams registered. If you go to Rand Beach Fives, that's 5s.rugbycentral.io.
17 teams. I got an update today.
17 teams now. So that's going to be a really fun event. It's a good party time. Saturday, January 8th on the beach in Hollywood.
What Gavin was telling me, Gavin McLively, who is the RAN representative that is running this, he told me that I had at this point 17 teams and only 3 from Florida, which is really weird.
That's good. That's great because they're always the latest to register.
Well,
anyway.
That's what I told them. Just wait till the week of the tournament. You got all the Florida teams.
So that's the second Saturday in January. The first Saturday is New Year's Day. So
I have personally never attended one of these, but it seems like it's a lot of fun. I'm not sure about the rugby wise, because this is beach rugby, so it is what it is. But people seem to have a lot of fun.
Charlie just boycotts it because there's no kicks. All right, now
it's hard to drop kick in the sand for sure.
the week after that, it was supposed to be this Winter Classic Rugby weekend in St. Pete. They were promoting it back in the summer, and that's just kind of fizzled out. So I don't think that tournament's happening. Middle of April, Tropical Sevens. I'm sure we'll have John Steiner on in the new year. That's obviously moved. I can't remember if we had it before the last pod or not, but it's moving from Orlando to Tampa Bay. I'm not sure about that decision, but is Orlando
I did speak with
than Tampa.
I did speak briefly with John, and what he said about the change of venue is that they sort of needed to be able to grow because they're expecting like 150 teams. And, at the Orlando location, which was great and had the hotel right next to it, there was just, 6 fields or something like that, and in this other place that we're looking at right now, they have, like 15 fields. So
it looks cool.
It's like I guess unlimited.
There's a soccer tournament wanting that weekend as well. They charge like 2 to 4 times as much for their tournament.
$1,000. Did I see that?
You did $1,100, I think, for the U19. So the hotel was smelling that money. So I'm sure they sort of gave John hey, you might want to find somewhere else to play. So that's 15th, 16th of April, Easter weekend as always. I know I was talking to a friend who was at New York Sevens last week, and she said a lot of the Canadian teams didn't travel. So I'm really hoping that the COVID situation sorts itself out by then, because we know how Canadian heavy that event is.
Apparently, right now there is a lot of Canadian teams coming back. He also mentioned something.
I'm sure they want to come back. It's just a question of if they.
Yeah, of course. We're gonna have to see
allowed to get back into the country, I should say. All right, so the in May we are going to have the Florida Invitational Rugby Showcase in Ponte Vedra. Now, it started last year as sort of a last-minute thing put together with some teams from Carolina and Connecticut and Florida wanting just to get together and play because there wasn't much high school rugby going on outside of Florida last year. And it was a huge success. And Charlie spoke earlier this week with Mike Wright, the organizer of this event. So stick with us here for a few minutes, and Charlie's going to replay that interview with Mike as he talks about his tournament coming up towards the end of May next year.
It's a really amazing tournament that is taking off. So let's listen.
We're back after that to sort of wrap things up. Charlie, go ahead.
Yeah, you can go to the bathroom now.
In Ponte Vedra, and it was just incredible how all the dominoes started falling once we decided that we were going to do this.
Sorry.
In Ponte Vedra, and it was just incredible how all the dominoes started falling once we decided that we were going to do this, and all the things that needed to happen that are sometimes deal breaker stuff. The doors couldn't have been more open. So we jumped on it. We did it. It was successful. A lot of people had fun. It came together nicely, and we enjoyed it. And we said, you know what, let's do it again. And this time let's add a college expo component to it where the college coaches, because we had a couple come last year and they loved it, and they can actually have some one-on-one time with the players and get to meet with them. And our goal is to advance rugby from the high school level into the next phase of life, whatever that looks like, whether it's into the military or into college or whatever, just the next step. So we want to bridge that gap for them so that the rugby isn't over at high school. That's our goal ultimately.
I did follow your Facebook live broadcast, which was great. And it seemed to me that there was like a lot of people involved working at the tournament.
Yeah. So I do some of the stats for NBC for Seven. So I've been in the broadcast world for a little while, and we haven't got a team.
It was very entertaining. I mean, I really enjoyed it. The video was not that good because I think you guys sort of put this together at last minute, so you didn't have like real
it was
cameras.
On my cell phone.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
cell phone.
considering that, it was awesome, and it was just listening to it was very entertaining. I do remember that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we gave it as best a professional effort as we could and used what resources we had. And you're absolutely right. There was a cell phone, but what was nice was the parents that were out of town were able to watch their kids at some level, even if it was on the cell phone and we had, the guys talking about the game and stuff. So it worked.
What are your plans this year as far as broadcasting?
Well, we've reached a deal with the Rugby Network, and we're gonna we have a pretty big budget, and we need some sponsors to come in, but we're going to be on the Rugby Network streaming live on Field 1 for the entire duration of the tournament. So Saturday and Sunday both be a full day of broadcast, full with graphics, replays, broadcasters. We've got Kenny Scott's committed to coming down, Jake Mizell from Arkansas State. A lot of colleges have said that they would come in and do a game with us, at least be a guest speaker. Salty Thompson, the U19 selector.
Hall of
is gonna be
Famer,
there.
Salty.
Hall of Famer Salty, yep, he's going to come and be a part of it. So we have a ton of broadcast options, and even if they're not there full day, because those are long days, they're going to stop by the booth for a little bit and say hello and chime in on what they think's happening on our
Of course. And how is it looking for this year? I am going to show a picture of the park while we speak. It's really a nice, very nice venue.
It's a gorgeous venue.
Are those fields grass or they are turf?
They're grass. They're grass.
Really?
They're
Oh my God.
maintained by the county. They're right about that time is when they start to aerate them. They're great for Florida. They're amazing fields. They're as good as they can get.
You know, I think the quality of the fields, that sort of makes a big difference for a tournament, right? Because it has to sort of, I mean, obviously for the players, it must be beautiful to play there, but also just, you know, like watching it just makes a big difference. Yeah. And tell me a little bit about this St. John's. Is that the city or county?
It's a county. St. John's County is, so the biggest city there is St. Augustine. And
Okay.
that's who runs our field. We touched Jacksonville and Duval County. We touched them, but St. John's County has rolled out the red carpet for us and been just super rugby friendly, which can be difficult, as you know, playing rugby all these years.
I mean,
it is amazing what they're doing for us. So we are.
And what happened? Why did they do that? I mean, I wish I could have something like that here in Miami-Dade. You know.
I think it's the right time, the right place. The superintendent has been wonderful to us. And there's one of the commissioners is a former rugby player from Iowa.
Okay. Oh, no.
So yeah. And it hasn't been too much. You know, they've never fussed. They've always helped us out with things that we need. They ask, how can we even do better? I mean, they're talking about putting in a real proper rugby field with posts and all that. Not a conversion field, which we're going to be playing a tournament on, but you know what I mean? A proper 22-meter deep tri-zones, permanent goalpost rugby field in St. Johns County. It's going to happen. Maybe not this year, but it's going to happen.
That's rugby heaven.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be the East Coast rugby heaven.
And how is next year's tournament looking as far as, you know, teams? I mean, I understand that right now you wouldn't have a list of teams signed up because it's a little bit early because teams have to see what goes on in the season. But how is it looking, and what kind of teams are like lining up to come?
It's really good. So just like you said, the teams can't commit yet because some of them are going to be going to nationals, which is wonderful. We want them to have that opportunity to play for a national championship. Our point is that, hey, if you don't get selected for nationals or whatever, come to our tournament. We're going to have excellent competition. We're going to have college selectors, the College Expo on Friday night where you can meet and talk with the coaches. We're using Playwise, which is a recruiting app to put in all your stats and fitness and all that stuff. And so we're getting some very talented teams. We have heavy recruiting in the Northeast, obviously. Everybody in the Southwest is already in the loop. Texas is a big one. And I'm trying to get some of those teams from California, Utah, you know, some of those other rugby hotbeds throughout the country. And right now they're all putting together their budget to see what they have. You know, they don't even know how many players. They don't know how much dollars. And the ones that do have all the players and money allocated are probably going to go for a shot at nationals or at least be in that conversation, which is totally, I get all that. So we're just saying, if that doesn't come to fruition for you, come to us. We've got a great thing going and we want you. So, and I can hold up to 80 teams. So I've got 2 different venues reserved. I don't think we are going to get 80. But
how many fields do we have available there?
So I have 8 fields total that I have access to that are reserved under the tournament.
You are planning to have the Jacksonville Wolverines participate again, I'm guessing, right?
They are. They're in 100% this year. They've got a great squad, a U19 and a U16. And I'll tell you this, my U14 division is I almost already have a full bracket from teams within Florida and outside of Florida. They're the first ones committed because they just don't have enough places to play. So if you're a coach and you're listening and you have a U14 team, that bracket's going to be a lot of fun. And we're cutting the little guys a break financially because we just want them to come and play and enjoy.
Awesome. Hey, Mike. Well, thank you very much. We'll be talking again when a little bit closer once the season comes on.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we have a great team putting this thing together with Aaron. We've got back 10 pros, referees that are committed to doing the refereeing. With the Rugby Network, all the college coaches that have already committed. We've got a couple MLR teams that are coming. The Raptors are coming. NOLA. There's a bunch of them. I foresee somebody coming from the Georgia area at some point.
Oh, for sure,
LSU is committed. I mean, these are some big name programs that are coming. Salty Thompson. So the kids are going to get exposure to the highest level of rugby in college. That's already done. Now we just need to get the teams in and put on a good production for everybody. So
Okay.
That's going to happen.
Great. So we'll be seeing you again, and good luck. Thank you for
Thanks,
your time.
Johnny. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Say hi to the boss over there, Aaron Church.
I'll tell him.
Okay.
You got
Bye-bye.
it. All right. Thank you, Charlie. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Hold on, I was muted.
I had to mute you because you were making noises there. You're going to have to get your ass up there to Jacksonville.
Oh, no, for sure.
that
Well, I
time.
know one of my fellow scouts, Marcus, is already committed to coming down to that. But no, it sounds like a really great tournament that Mike's getting ready to put on. Tropical Sevens is getting the sevens crowd, but this tournament seems to be clearly focused on the 15s and sort of the postseason, and whoever wants to play some, perhaps a higher level rugby. And it was more, we sent the Jaguares up there last year, and Jacksonville also participated. And yeah, it sounds like he's on the right track, Charlie.
Yeah, it looks like, and you see what the big difference is. Yeah. What the thing that I caught my attention the most was this support they got from the county.
No, it's huge.
I'm not sure if he mentioned that they have some councilman that is a rugby player.
He did mention a guy from New Zealand.
He did, right? Yeah. So we have to elect rugby players to the local councils.
I know Miami tried last year and failed. I seem to remember that, or the year before. Anyway, good stuff there. So the FloridaRugbyInvite.com, I think, was the website I saw there. So go check that out. All right, Charlie, we got a few minutes left here. All Florida Day. You were there. I wasn't. So give me a review. It started off as an 11-a-side thing. That just flopped, completely, and they ended up going to 15s, and they got a decent crowd there. How was the rugby? How was the facility?
Well, the facility was very nice. It was very nice. The fields were very nicely set up. Also, we definitely have to do this a little bit earlier, before the change of time, the daylight savings things. I think because we used to have this in mid-October, right? Back in the days.
It's moved around a little bit, but yeah, normally.
Yeah, so I think, but it was pretty good. That 11-a-side thing, I think it like threw off a lot of teams that just weren't interested. And then that's why they had to go back to 15s. It was really nice, which is I think is the nicest thing of all Florida. When you have all these different teams from college, men, women, in the same locations. I also really appreciate being able to have all the referees around, or a bunch of them.
Yeah,
that's always a good thing. And one thing that maybe we have to look at to draw more interest is, again, bringing this back to a 2-day thing to be able to set up more competition, because in this instance there was nothing to play for, which is always nice.
No, I understand.
Nobody was champion of nothing, unless, I don't know, Steve, if he wants to claim something, because
listen, at least it's just good to get all Florida Day back. We didn't have it for a long time.
Absolutely.
It's a great opportunity for referees to get looked at, all in the same place with lots of coaches, and for teams to play some of their newer players with not. That's the other thing about playing a competitive thing, is that teams try to play to win instead of playing kids that perhaps just are new to the game. Unfortunately, we know in Florida that even if you put a shot glass up for winning, some teams are just going to put out the best team they can and just to win it. So at least there wasn't, it was a good chance. If teams are doing it right, they're using this to evaluate players, just like we're using it to evaluate refs.
Exactly. I think it's a perfect time in the season to get because you can go over there and play 3 to 4 games, and you can have everybody playing. That's one of the reasons I think we had this in the beginning, right?
Yeah, especially teams that aren't. There's so many teams out there that aren't scheduling friendlies. It's frustrating. Speaking of teams that, aren't playing, Charlie, let's wrap this up. We were supposed to have a tournament this weekend in Tampa, but unfortunately, everybody bailed at the last minute. It seems to be something that's getting to be a little pervasive in Florida rugby. I know they had several teams drop out of all Florida Day at the last minute. We've seen some friendlies canceled. The numbers seem to be down with a lot of the clubs.
Yeah, there seems to be across the board some recruitment problems in
and I understand, right, that we're still in a pandemic. especially at the young ages. Some of the parents are still a little concerned about their kids playing rugby. I haven't heard of any group transmissions from the game. It's outside. You're not other than the scrums, you're not super close to anybody for an extended period of time. But
yeah, I don't really think
these teams, don't commit
right
to stuff
now,
if you can't make it.
But yeah. In that sense, I think we have to bring back the concept that when you schedule a game, you actually go and play the game. The last resort should be canceling. People. I think I do understand that. You do run into problems of you just don't have the team, but it's very unfortunate. I guess we're gonna have to sort of leave it around here, Ross. We had a bunch of things to talk about.
Yeah, we ran out of time. Too many guests, but that's all right. We'll do another one perhaps next week or the week after. Certainly, we'll try and get one in before Christmas. Thanks to Brock Roper for coming on, Mike Wright for spending the time with you, Charlie. I know earlier this week, Nick Vickers. Well, that's Nick.
Yeah, well, we'll have
get him
next
on.
time.
We'll certainly get him on before Ruggerfest, but he did commit to tonight.
He did.
He did that. He did that thing. But anyway,
I just have to say hello to a friend that is looking. Anita, si estás mirando, gracias. Thank you.
Hello, Anita. Thanks for watching. And, if you didn't check it out live, you can obviously check out the replays on Facebook and YouTube, and then you can listen to the audio version on any of your favorite podcast providers. I use I remember the name of the one that I use. What was the one called? Overcast. Overcast is my podcast app. There's obviously Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We're available on all those. So if you missed tonight's live show, you can check it back on the audio. Well, thanks as always, Charlie, for all the hard work that you put into these things. I know it's been a few weeks and you're a little rusty, but it didn't show.
Hopefully, we'll be doing this when the season comes. We do need to get a couple of sponsors, so you better get working on that, Ross. You have to bring one. I'll bring another one.
Yes, listen.
Okay.
Charlie puts a ton of effort into this, and time is money. I don't. I just show up and talk. But Charlie puts a lot of effort into this, and it makes things a lot. I still think we'd do it if we were doing it for free, but it makes the show a lot better, and it makes things a lot easier if we're getting a bit of help.
And the season overall looks pretty exciting. We couldn't get to that, but
we'll get to all that.
Games, interesting divisions. The college, the high school is going to be a very good one also this year.
Yeah, so we just had to catch up and do some finish those Thanksgiving leftovers today, Charlie. That's what we had to do, and then we'll cook up some fresh turkey for next week or the week after.
Okay, thank you very much, Ross.
Good stuff, Charlie. Thanks for everybody tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Say hi to the boss, and thank her for her behind the scenes.
Always paying attention. Yes.
Well, see you next time.
Cheers, Charlie. Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Bye-bye.